Tyreek Hill has become one of the NFL's biggest stars. There's nobody in the league who plays the game the way he plays, with a combination of speed and ability as a pure wide receiver. But why wasn't the Cheetah a first-round pick? Let's find out. The Tyreek Hill we know today has done it all. He's a Super Bowl champion, a 4-time first-team All-Pro, a Pro Bowler in 7 straight seasons, and has now proven that he doesn't need to be catching passes from Patrick Mahomes to be elite in the NFL. It all started out in high school, where Tyreek was a standout track athlete, but wasn't getting any love for his ability on the football field. Hill had run exceptional times in both the 100-meter and 200-meter sprints, and was attracting attention from some of the biggest schools in the country, but not for football. Alabama had reached out, and LSU was interested too, but there was an issue. Tyreek Hill didn't have good enough grades to go to a top college program on scholarship, so he had to take a detour through a JUCO school in order to fulfill his potential as a track athlete. He was recommended a community college in Kansas, Garden City. The plan was for Hill to head to Garden City, get his grades, and then progress to run track at a top-tier college program. Football wasn't even in the conversation at this point, so when Tyreek got to Garden City, his focus was on track and his grades. He'd played high school football, but never received an offer at the college level. That was until he made the team at Garden City. A quarterback named Nick Marshall had arrived at the same community college after being dismissed from the team at the University of Georgia. He recruited Hill to come and play for the football team. Suddenly, Tyreek Hill was starting to develop as a football player, and he dropped the ambition to run track completely. The focus had shifted, but he was still late to the party as a football prospect. College programs started to pay attention. Hill was playing both running back and receiver and having an impact in both. Following his second year, where the speedy youngster had posted 659 rushing yards and 5 TDs, plus 32 catches and 532 receiving yards, Tyreek Hill was ready to transfer to a D1 college program, only now that was as a football player. Hill was graded as a 4-star recruit and labeled an all-purpose back, and his recruiting had taken off. The JUCO talent got an official offer from Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, USC, and several other top-tier programs. He took a visit to Alabama, where he had been recruited by Billy Napier, who is now the head coach of the Florida Gators. Despite mutual interest, Hill decided to play elsewhere and committed to Oklahoma State. Both of Hill's parents and his brother had gone to Oklahoma State, and so choosing the Cowboys was the route he decided to take. Tyreek Hill enrolled as a running back, but lined up all over the field in the 2014 season. He was by far the program's most explosive back, managing 5.3 yards per carry that season on 101 carries, taking secondary reps to Desmond Rowland. The Cheetah had also proven himself as a talented pass catcher, catching 31 balls on 36 targets for another 266 yards and a touchdown. In his very first game against Florida State, a school that had recruited him, Hill caught 6 passes for 62 yards and looks set to be a key addition to the Cowboys' offense. He had a punt return for a 92-yard touchdown against Oklahoma, leveling the score in a rivalry game that eventually led to the Cowboys claiming the win. Hill's 996 combined return yards that year were good for second in the nation, and he was ranked 11th for all-purpose yards across all of college football. It sure looked like he had a bright future. However, after just 1 year in college, things took a turn for the worst. Tyreek Hill was arrested and charged for domestic violence and battery in an incident involving his pregnant girlfriend. He was kicked off the football and track teams and refused a second chance at Oklahoma State. It looked as though Hill's football career was done. That was until a man named Brett Gilligan took a chance on him in 2015. Tyreek had been blacklisted across Division I after pleading guilty to the charges and the release of a police report about the incident. Gilligan was the head coach at Western Alabama, a Division II program looking for difference makers, and after contacting coaching staff at both Oklahoma State and Garden City, he decided to give Hill a second chance. It was at Western Alabama that Hill started to feature more as a wide receiver, with an almost 50-50 split between reps at running back and receiver. After 1 season at Western Alabama and staying clear of any trouble, Tyreek Hill entered the 2016 NFL draft pool. Scouting reports were naturally cautious. Hill had a troubled background, and there would be controversies surrounding any team that took a chance on him, regardless of how late in the draft it was. Franchises and their fans would struggle to welcome a character with a story like Hill's, so he obviously wasn't going to be selected early in the draft. Many wondered whether he'd be drafted at all. Could an NFL team take the risk? Sure enough, one team did. In the 5th round, with pick 165 in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Tyreek Hill and got slammed for it. Beat writers, newspapers, blogs, fans, and more condemned the pick, refusing to accept that the franchise would knowingly draft a convicted abuser. At the time, John Dorsey was the general manager of the Chiefs, and Andy Reid the head coach. Both received warranted questions about the pick and defended it by stating that they'd done more than their fair share of due diligence about Hill's character and felt comfortable drafting him following that investigation. Tyreek Hill had been taking counseling sessions and surrounding himself with the right people, which Andy Reid stated felt as though Hill was trying to right a wrong. So, with a lifeline in pro football, Tyreek Hill got to work. He slotted in as a genuine wide receiver after spending most of his football career up until that point, splitting his time between being a running back and a receiver. In his rookie year, he caught 61 passes for 593 yards and 6 receiving touchdowns, leading the wide receivers in production behind Travis Kelce. Just 1 year later, while building a connection with Alex Smith and becoming a key piece of the offense, Hill had his first 1,000-yard receiving season, while catching 7 touchdowns. Early signs of establishing himself without the need for Mahomes. Those first 2 years gave Tyreek Hill the footing to be a top-tier wide receiver in the National Football League, and that's when Patrick Mahomes arrived. The pairing of a standout quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, an offensive genius like Andy Reid, and the elite speed and growing pass-catching ability of Tyreek Hill was the foundation of certain fireworks. Teams just couldn't cover Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and in Mahomes' very first season as the starter, they made the conference championship game against the New England Patriots. That was just the beginning of it. Mahomes, Hill, and Kelce returned to the conference championship game in every season that followed. In 4 seasons playing with Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill had 3 1,000-yard receiving years and only missed out in 2019 because of an injury that sidelined him for several weeks. Hill was collecting accolades as the Chiefs surged in the NFL. They were playing at a dynasty level and made it to 2 Super Bowls, winning it all at Super Bowl 54 against the San Francisco 49ers. Hill had 105 receiving yards in that Super Bowl, including a famous 44-yard reception on 3rd and 15 that changed the course of the game. Then, in March 2022, the Cheetah rocked the NFL by requesting a trade away from the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that had given him a shot back in 2016. According to reports, Hill wasn't thrilled with the way the Chiefs had utilized him in the 2021 season. He claimed he was open more often than not, but wasn't getting the ball as much as he would have liked. The news broke that Hill was seeking a move, and in what seemed like a matter of minutes, he'd been traded to the Miami Dolphins. It all happened so fast, and before you could blink, the Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes era was over. Now he was going to play with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, and for a rookie head coach in Mike McDaniel, who had plans to utilize Hill's skill set in a way that suited the receiver's ambitions. Fans questioned whether he'd be the same player, or whether he was more of a product of an elite system and a skilled offense in Kansas City. Fans equally questioned whether the Chiefs would be the same without him. Well, Kansas City won the Super Bowl, and Tyreek Hill posted the best season of his career, with career highs of 119 catches and 1,710 receiving yards. Playing alongside Jalen Waddle made the Dolphins' offense a real problem, and despite losing Tua for several games due to injury, and Hill playing with Teddy Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson, he still put up all-time numbers. The next question for Tyreek Hill will be whether he's accepted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Many great players have been denied or at least delayed based on controversies in their lives, and Hill will be another that divides the room on the outcome of his career and whether he will be enshrined in Canton. What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. If you like basketball, go visit our sister channel, Halftime Basketball. There you'll find some of YouTube's top up-and-coming basketball content. If you enjoyed this video, we invite you to subscribe. We're going to pass 1 million subs. Just watch. Thank you for watching The Halftime Show.